What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are going to continue our coverage over the Hellfire Gala Event. Now, with that being said, when it comes to the Hellfire Gala Event, it is basically an event that Marvel did a couple years ago where basically you can say it's the X-Men and the mutant race telling the world in Marvel Comics that they're no longer second class, that now they're first class. Now that right there is very huge. Now the reason why, because over the years in Marvel Comics, the X-Men and the mutant race have been hated on by humans. But when they became a nation, their main goal was to show the world that basically mutants can help the world be better. And so this event, the Hellfire Gala event, which is basically a party that the mutant race is throwing, is they invited humans to this event to say, look at what we have accomplished in our short period of time of being a nation. And now they're trying to show if humans and mutants can work together, it could technically lead the world into a better direction. Now, with all that being said, each chapter has ended on a crazy note. And what I mean is that, so when it comes to Hellfire Gala Event, it is basically a crossover between all the different X-Men books. So X-Factor, X-Force, X-Men, Excalibur, all the X titles. But either way though, each chapter is following a different character or team. But either way though, it's kind of like, how did this event affect the team? And what's to come to that team after this event? So like, for example, Excalibur, the last thing we covered, they had to deal with the idea that Great Britain is no longer having an alliance with COPPA anymore. On top of that, Morgan Le Fay is coming back. That's what I mean. When it comes to the Hellfire Gala event, yes, it is a big party, but each chapter is used to follow a different character and team to kind of say, hey, how did this event affect them? And what's to come for those characters after this event down the road? Now, of course, we now pick up with X-Men number 21. Now, this is the book where technically it's Jonathan Hickman saying goodbye to the main X-Men series. He will write a few more X-Men titles after this book, but of course, he's kind of like, I'm done with the X-Men main flagship series. And so he's also setting up the next X-Men series that will be written by a different writer. And so a lot is happening with this one particular book, but it's also introducing the new X-Men team that's going to take over the new X-Men title. So again, a lot of things is happening in this event. But like I said earlier, when it came to each chapter of this event, something big happened where the humans leave and they're very upset. They're mad about the idea of what mutants did. The problem is though, we have no idea what the mutants did to tick off the humans. But we're getting very close to finding out what they did with this chapter and the next one. So here is part 5 of the Hellfire Gala event. X-Men number 21, Jonathan Hickman's last book. Now, the opening of this book actually picks up with Namor. And this is Jonathan Hickman reminding us that two things. One, Namor is a mutant. On top of that right now, it's also Hickman reminding us that when it comes to Namor, Namor looks at Charles Xavier and Magneto as frauds. And what I mean is that because Magneto and Charles only have an island to call their own for their nation, for him, they're not true rulers. And for Namor, he is a true ruler because all the oceans on Earth belong to him. And that is 70% of the Earth. And so basically it's him saying, look, you may think that you're great like me, a great king or a great leader, but you're not. You're frauds. And his name were also telling Charles Xavier and Magneto that if he was able to come to the Quiet Council, other members of the Quiet Council would quickly give him a seat or give them their seat. And so basically it's Namor telling Charles Xavier and Magneto that if they want to form an alliance, they need to be better. They need to show him that they actually mean a whole lot more than what they do right now, which is just an island. And so that is why I say it's Jonathan Hickman giving us hints what's to come in this book right here, but also the next one, because he has been kind of playing around with Namor this entire series, with Magneto as well. Because again, it's Charles Xavier and Magneto wanting to form an alliance with Namor. But to form that alliance, they have to do more, which they are going to do very soon. Now, of course, later on that night, we do have Cyclops and Jean Grey announce to everyone in the party it's time for their big reveal. Who is going to be the new X-Men team? Now, of course, like I said earlier, in the earlier chapters of this event, we saw that Rogue was one of the members who was selected to be an X-Men member. So, of course, we already know that Rogue is going to be on that team. But the question is, though, who are the rest of the characters that are going to join this new X-Men team? And so basically you have Jean Grey use her powers to connect the minds of all the mutants, but also the humans at the party as well, to get ready for the big reveal. Who is going to be on the new X-Men team? And so honestly, this is a huge thing because you have other characters who are not mutants, who are not on the X-Men. So like the Human Torch and Doctor Strange, very eager to see who is going to be on this new X-Men team. Now, of course, with this big reveal, it's also saying that some characters are going to leave their current teams, but also some characters are finally going to be used in the COPPA era. So, for example, we get told who is going to be on the team now. So, like Rogue is one of the characters selected. Sunfire, Wolverine, Synch, and Polaris. Those are your new X-Men team members. Rogue, Sunfire, Wolverine, which is honestly X-23 Wolverine, Synch, and also Polaris, which honestly, this makes for a very interesting team, but the rest will be Cyclops and Jean Grey. And so this is your new X-Men team. This will be the X-Men team we're going to see in the next X-Men series that we are going to cover very soon. Now, we do get a page where basically we do see Emma Frost meeting up with some characters who are from a city that is nameless. And the reason why it is nameless is because no one knows about this city. Like, no one in the world knows about it except Emma Frost, which honestly kind of scares me. But either way, though, it's Emma Frost coming to them and saying, hey, listen, I will keep your little area secret, but I only want one thing from you. And of course, it's something called the Karakatuka. And I really hope I pronounced that correctly. But of course, she wants what's inside the box, not the box itself, what's inside the box. But apparently these characters are very surprised she knows about it and wondering, does she know what she's asking for could be very dangerous? Emma Frost doesn't care. She wants it now. Now, this next moment is kind of funny because it's Cyclops, no lie, running into Kevin Feige. I really feel like it was Marvel saying back then, don't worry guys, we're going to bring in the X-Men very soon to the MCU. Just give me a little bit more time. They'll come very soon, I promise you. But of course, we all know it's going to be a couple more years. But either way, though, this is the moment where you have Kevin Feige kind of ask Cyclops, what's your story? Now, at first, it's Cyclops telling Kevin, well, I was a kid who had no dreams, but then I ran into Charles Xavier, who gave me dreams. We had hope that we could make the world better. Now, of course, the way we tried it first was not going to work. It was imperfect. It was not going to change the world. And so Charles, me, and the rest of the mutants had to look at the world in a different way on how we can technically change the world for the betterment. And so it's him saying, I finally realized how I can change the world, how I can make the world better. And this is what I did. This is what we did as a nation. And so I hope you enjoy the party because we're showing you we are going to change the world for the betterment of the future. Now, when it comes to Jonathan Hickman, he knows how to leave you on a cliffhanger. Like, man, this dude knows how to leave you on a cliffhanger. Because basically what happens next is that you have Emma Frost kind of thanking everybody for coming to this event. Like, hey guys, thank you for being here. This is a great event. It's amazing to see all these faces, like her usual thankful speech. Now, here's the big thing though, because at the end of that, you have Emma Frost say, we have one more thing to show you guys. Now remember, every single chapter so far has basically ended on the high note of that something happened at the end of the night where humans leave upset, angry, or surprised in what the mutants have done. The problem is though, so far, what we have covered, we still have no idea what they did. And this book right here still will not tell us what they did. But it is Hickman saying, read the words one more time to kind of get an idea what the X-Men have done. Because Emma Frost says it's time for us to expand. And you're kind of like, excuse me, expand? What do you mean expand? And that's why I say earlier in this video, when it came to Namor and he told Charles Xavier and he told Magneto, you need to offer me more than just an island to basically make an alliance. I need more than that. Well, this is Emma Frost saying we are about to expand right now. And the book ends on that high note right there. So with that being said, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, guys, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.